Hello and welcome to the Brickfreaks. Today with an assembly video. Yes, I do it again. Assembly videos of the pneumatic concrete truck from Mould King. 4,400 pieces, officially licensed from Ivan Mock. And you see now some takes after each building step, we will see, perhaps after each building steps, perhaps in between. I don't know how big the building steps are. We will see. But you see some assembly videos. A lot of the German viewers, I don't know if you English viewers want to see it, but the most German viewers wanted that I make the assembly videos. And so I'll be back with the assembly videos. Not more photos, now video. Okay, thank you and have fun.
After 2.5 hours, I finished building step 1. And I had to do this 2 times because the first assembly I did a mistake. There are 2 types of black gears here, you see them. The normal, that is normally light bluish gray from Lego. And this one, that is normally red from Lego. And inside here, you see here the switch. And I did the mistake to assembly inside one of these that couldn't connect to the switch. Instead one of these. So I had to rebuild, disassemble everything, half an hour, assemble again. So normally the first time it took me 2.5 hours. The second time only 1 hour because I knew what to do. But it's always really bad when you do something wrong in technique. Okay, what we have inside, we have 2 of the pneumatic pumps going out to one tube. Here we have all the switches for the gears and everything that is pneumatic related later on. And this here will be placed directly behind the driver's cabin. And it's steering our arms or pushing them in and out to give our machine some stand. It's highly integrated. You see there's not much space inside. It's really highly integrated. I believe this is perhaps the most complex part of the whole build. I believe the next building steps will not be so hard to build and you don't have to be so concentrated as here. Okay, let's move on. Step 2.
So after total 5 hours building step 1 and 2, we are here on this here. Okay, first section, you know, you have all the controls here, pneumatic pumps and all the controls inside, the switches and everything. Part 2, here we have steering. That's already not connected. But does this here go further in? Yes. This here works. And we have a little bit of a suspension. Not much, but a little bit. Okay. I was very curious if this is really working, because you see the slip gear here and it's totally between these 2 lift arms and you hear it a little bit. It's not working totally free, but it's free enough so we have no problems. I had really sorrows that this is not working, but after I finished the whole part here, it's stable, it works, it's turning. Okay, next point is here. We have this motor and we have here a motor. Okay, they are both connected. This is going out, a gear, and there's a gear above, and this gear above is driven by the motor from here. The problem is, in between this point and the output of the motor are 4 cardan joints to get this here working, because you don't have a straight, so the designer needed the cardan joints. The problem is it's 4 cardan joints and the space in there is really not well proportioned. I don't know how I could tell you. There's not much space in there. So the cardan joint is always connecting when it's turning to other Technic beams. I think this could be a really problem at the end of the set if this is working. The next thing is, if I push this motor alone, only a little bit to the left and to the right, because the gear here is driven with that motor too. So if I get here the power, it has to turn, and not to turn only its own gears, it had to turn this gear right in front of the motor too. And when the motor here is not turned on, it's not turning well. So I don't know if this is really working. We will see at the end. It's a highly compacted build. I never built it so less in mass with so many gears. This is probably the most geared Technic set in this size I have ever built. Okay, here in front will be the driver cabin. This is the way for our 4 pillars to get a stable stand. This turntable is for the action, for the arm. And yeah, I believe next will be the 2 back axles and the differential. And then we are finished with the chassis. Well, after 6.5 hours and 6.5 to 7 hours, I'm here finished with the 3 building steps. Okay, I was wrong in one of the last takes. This here is the front. One of the M motors sits under the driver. Then here's our turntable for the arm. Here is all the complex work in it for the pillars. Here we have the steering, steering. That's at the moment not connected to anything. I found the gear. It was a black one normally here, but I had the green one near by my hand that I had over after the second building step. It was here, so I'm really happy that it is possible to get it later on, but it's better I do it now. Okay, then we have here back drive. We have 2 of the differentials. We have a not connected suspension at the moment. Yeah, this is a really, really complex set. For all the guys who think, oh, Mould King, they have too much motors, too easy. Oh, my dog's barking. I believe my daughter's coming from school. I know some guys, a lot of guys who think, okay, the wheel excavator was one of the best sets because not so many motors, a lot of functions and a lot of switches, or the ROX and so on. So this is a set with not many motors for the amount of functions we are getting, and a lot is made with switches. So I hope this is really a set for all the people who want a poor, complex Technic set with complex techniques and not so much motors. So this is your set. Now, next building step 4 is done, and yes, brought us here mudguard, and here mudguard, and the first 3/4 of the first arm. I don't know how this will be finished. I'm really curious. And next building step 5, I believe we will finish this arm here. Build the whole thing for the other side. 6 will be here driver cabin, and 7 and 8 will be the arm and the rest of the back part here. You can open this here. What is cool, they used these big form pieces out of an excavator, or from an excavator. Here at the end. Okay, it's starting to get heavy, not so heavy as a lot of other of these big sets, because it's so compact. There's nearly no space in it, really. The designer here, absolutely gorgeous. Everything has purpose, everything has sense, everything is well made. Here we have here to hide the mechanism for this turning part here, to move the arms out and everything. We will see. Okay. Here you see 2 building steps, 5 and 6. 5 was the other arm. You've seen this here, now you've seen this here, and all the covers on the side, all the axles and gears and everything to move all the 4 arms and pull out the pillars here.
So we have a lot of actuators in the set. We have 5 pneumatic cylinders. We have 2 here, 2 here, and 1 here. And now it comes to a very strange thing about this. You see, these are these normal small, these are not the pneumatic tubes. These are relatively strong, small tubes. Normally you cut them for decoration and something. They are hollow inside, but not a lot of diameter. And first I didn't know what the instructions wanted from me. I cut these in black and gray, put it on here, and then I saw, oh, they connect the pneumatic tubes to these tubes here. They are not pneumatic tubes. And then I realized what I had to do with 1.5 centimeters of the pneumatic tube and the black tube, or the two pneumatic tubes in black and gray, to cover here the 2 parts, to bring them together. So we have a whole, hopefully, a whole a closed system for the air pressure. I'm, yes, pretty skeptical that this will function. I don't know. It's one of the best builds in Technic I have ever built. And one of the most complicated and entertaining, but I'm just so skeptical if this everything will work. But we will see. We will see. There's 2 more building steps and 2 more motors. We will building the driver cabin. We have a servo to integrate for the steering, and we have an M motor. But the M motor is only assembled in a small 2 sheets, and these 2 sheets are called structural optimization. But inside they built the M motor. So perhaps the first attempt to build the set from Mould King didn't function, and they didn't want to print the whole instructions again and so on. And so they decided to bring in another motor here, perhaps to get more flow in the system. I don't know. We will see. We will see. I'm skeptical, but I like this. I like the set, this big yellow spider with a lot of tubes and connectors, and especially the pneumatic cylinders and I don't know. Don't get the right word. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. You know what I mean. Okay. 2 more building steps, driver cabin, and 2 engines, 2 motors, 1 M and 1 for steering. We will see. Last 2 building steps, 7 and 8, 7 2 bags, 8 only 1 bag, and yeah, you see here we finished the driver cabin. It's fully flippable. Inside is the battery box and the servo motor. The servo motor goes down. There's a long 12 length axle connected with a big gear directly to the steering, and so you put on the servo motor from above. Okay, we can open the doors. Yeah, we have a seat. Yeah, not steerable, not connected. Simple steering wheel. Okay, so this is how the set should look like when you're finished after the normal instructions. And I'm really curious because there's another small 4 sheets of paper or something in a smaller form factor, and it's called structural, to make it better, structural. But the funny thing is there's an M motor included. So this is not only structural improvements. I believe this set will not function right now really good. I can imagine that the pillars and the arms here are moving well. Perhaps the pneumatics are working. I don't know. It would be the first time that I had no problems with the Mould King pneumatics. We will see. But I don't think it will drive. So there's another M motor, and I believe we will build it here, somewhere near the back axle, and perhaps it's going directly to the back axle so that the other motor has some additional force, because the 4 cardan joints inside here that make a slightly curve, they have nearly no space. So I believe they didn't want to change everything, so they thought, okay, it's not driving, what should we do? Okay, we have the possibility perhaps with an additional motor in the back is a little bit of space, so we put in there a motor so we don't have to print a whole new instruction set and yeah, the instructions, because if you made this set here 5,000 times, it is a pity when you realize that it's not working. So it's always better to finish a set really and go then into production. But that's not the case with the Chinese brick companies. They often don't test it at all. So I'm happy they tested it and made and seen that there must be some issues. Okay, so I will go upstairs and we'll have a closer look if what is working now and what is not working now, and then we can I make the changes with the instruction sheet. I show you what is in the instruction sheet. I show the additional motor, and then all the functions, when they are working, you will see in the review, because there must be a reason for you to watch the review, and that they have the possibility to see me. Okay, that's a more nightmare reason. Okay, so one last take. So we are finished, and like I thought, not everything is working. Therefore, here the additional manual, the structural optimization instruction, and the name is wrong because it has nothing to do with the structure and the optimization of the structure. It's only the drivetrain. So, okay, first is you bring on 6 parts to get the cable management done. Next is you apply the M motor with some gears. That's M motor because it's not much space in there for another motor, so they need the M motor, and he's pretty loose there. And yeah, so it shows you how to use the extension cable. The bummer is on the other side, you're going here under the mud guard through the door. Because, yes, that's always happen when you put in cables in the end. And here it shows you to disconnect the old A and connect it with the not marked plug. And then everything is working. Okay. It's really a bummer that a company like Mould King don't test their things and optimize it and produce it then when it's working. They produce it and yeah, then they are recognizing that it is not working. That's not the right way. Please, Mould King, change that. Make your testing before you produce a set, and then we don't have to deal with that here. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Frank, your Brick Freak. Please watch the review for all the functions. Bye bye.